What's up, NPR gang? I'm about to start talk about this video about the debate between Dr. Cheyenne, if I'm saying it right, Bryant, versus Nick Cannon about the function of relationships. So while I was just chilling, playing my games on TikTok, whatever the case might be, enjoying my time, I saw this coming across my TikTok page about Cheyenne telling Nick Cannon about what she said. I wrote it down. I just found the link and I'm going to talk about it, but I really want to talk about the clip that I just saw and like really break it down, even out of context of just watching and observing the conversation. She said during the conversation, "We attract who we are despite who we think we are." That is a bar. So I'm just going to let the video play, and we can watch as the video goes on, and I share my commentary. So enjoy.
I'm comfortable with my abandonment.
Because you are in your dysfunctional norm that you become comfortable with.
But it's worked. It's become a superpower.
But you've learned to survive in it. You're not thriving in that. That's not thriving. You're surviving in that.
Okay.
And so anytime you are surviving and not thriving, there is no cape. There is no superpower. There's no superpower in a lack of mental health. And there's no superpower.
But it's worked for me. Like you said, I mean,
you know why it worked for you?
You read me well.
You know why it worked for you?
Why?
You know why it worked for you?
Now, before she gives her feedback about why it worked for you, of your superpower of abandonment, without even understanding the context of the word abandonment, of why is it used for, abandonment isn't a good thing, especially when you're having a conversation about a relationship. Like, I would get the full context, and probably at the end of the video, after I watch the whole thing and share my thoughts on it. Abandonment, I got abandoned, what type of abandonment definition is the action of or fact of abandoning or being abandoned, like you leaving somebody on some sort of situation. And he's saying that's a superpower, and he's talking about like it's not good, and she was talking about it's not good for you to abandon it. It's not good for you to do that. And I really don't want to drop the key gem that she was about to say, so I'm just gonna let her say it, and we just gonna keep on rolling. But anytime I was going to say that, I just remember, anytime you dating a male or a female, and you can acknowledge their red flags, and you can see it like it's glistening red as a red flag, and not there's somebody who going through something and they are wanting to change, or they wanting to get better. Like, hey, they might have some dilemmas here, hey, they might have some dilemmas there, but if they are willing to get better as an individual for themselves, then that's something that you should be patient about. But if you can see somebody who is comfortable and who is acknowledged that their behavior issues is their superpower, instead of my behavior patterns and the way that I do certain things is wrong, let me get some help and figure out what to do better, instead of just being comfortable of the function that you have, instead of pointing the finger or trying to give it a positive spin on it. Like, let's say I have an addiction of stealing and never get caught, or I have addiction of lying and I'm like the smartest person. Like, it's a negative situation, but when somebody has a negative problem, they don't want to acknowledge the negative behavior. So by them not acknowledging the negative behavior, they'll use that negative behavior and spin it to make it a positive one by saying, oh wow, look at what I'm doing right now. Yes, I'm doing something that's completely harmful to said person, but if you think about it, it's actually a superpower, when all reality it is not. It's actually causing harm to yourself and towards the person. So let's continue listening.
I'm gonna go there, and it's probably gonna be okay.
Go ahead. This is what we wanted to set the first. We got 2 minutes left in our first session.
With all due respect, seriously, to all the women that you've encountered, ladies, I'm saying this: the reason why it's worked for you is because you have chosen and to prey on low-functioning women who don't have the emotional intelligence. No, I'm going there. Who will allow you to do that, Nick? And when I say allow, it's not a control thing. When I say allow, I'm not saying that she sits across you and says, this is what you won't do, you're crossing a boundary. Nick.
I disagree.
Yes.
This is why I disagree. I mean, one, because
why you gonna make sure, but you gotta go in protection mode too.
But even what I'm saying, because you could say from all the high value women that I've ever
I didn't say high value.
But okay, I'm giving compliments.
So what I presume in that part is that she is talking about his baby making addiction, or where he gets with a woman, it didn't turn out good. He breaks up with her. I think he has like 8 to 10 kids or 8 baby mamas, and I'm not too sure, but he has a lot of baby mamas. And she said that you're doing a low functioning behavior by going around getting all these women pregnant that you're dealing with, and just abandoning your kid. You see how that kind of intertwined? You're abandoning your kid. You're not dealing with them. You get with one woman, you get her pregnant, you move on to the next. You get a one woman, you deal with her, you move on to the next. And you're not having the time or the energy to turn around and spend that time with your kid. And for what she is saying is right. For a high functioning woman, or a high-functioning individual, regardless male or female, won't engage in such behavior. So Nick is trying to deflect like, oh, I'm high value based on the amount of money, amount of things and business that's in his name. But like the problem with the red pill community, the problem is with a certain men or space in the community, or men's group in YouTube or on Facebook or whatever. A lot of people think that by you having a certain status of being a rich dude, or owning a whole bunch of shows, or having a whole bunch of connections, that makes you high value. And I know I deleted a lot of my videos of the past, or hidden them in the past, because I have a different sense of direction or different way on how I review things and the way I want to do this channel and things of that nature. But just the same way I say things back then, or last year or the year before that. Having certain materials, having certain possessions in your name does not make you high value. That's the same thing for if a woman decided to go to school and get a degree and things of that nature. Yes, it makes her a better individual person by having all those things, but just because you have those things in your possession does not make you better than the next person. You just that you went to school and did what you had to do. Not to knock on nobody's achievement, not to what's that word I'm looking for? Downplay a person's achievement, but is to understand that, okay, you have these achievements, and just because you have those achievements with you does not nullify or give you the opportunity to ignore your bad traits that you have within you. You could be an ignorant person with a lot of money. You could be an ignorant person with no money. You could be an ignorant person and get a lot of women. You could be an ignorant person and get no women. You could be the ignorant person and get one woman pregnant. You could still be an ignorant person and get multiple people pregnant. You are who you date. So if you're dealing with and engaging with low functioning behavior, like if I'm a female and I heard that this person got 6, 7, 8 baby mamas, why in the hell would I turn around and expect this person to turn around and deal with me? Because he got money, but he ain't with the 6 women. I'm gonna be woman number 7 by dealing with this dude. So why would I turn around and deal with that? If I'm high functioning, if I'm thinking from a high functional place, I know if I engage in that, that's a low functioning behavior, because the person that is offering me this certain thing is operating in low function. Let's continue and hear what else she has to say.
But I'm just saying,
wait a minute.
For the people who are even of them being, because first of all,
low functioning woman will allow you to function low with them. Nick, you could not function that low.
So this is, Nick, everyone's low functioning at some point in their life.
You could not function low with a woman of my functioning, not because I'm superior. Not because I'm superior. Listen to me say this really quick. Not because I'm superior to any other woman, but because I do have leverage. I've been in my field for 17 years, so we get that. But I've done the work, meaning you won't have an opportunity to get hostile with me, and you may want to flee, but fleeing would not get you a payoff with me. Wait a minute.
I'm not the hostile individual.
This is that's my point. Did you hear what you just said? We said the same thing. You would never have the opportunity to get hostile with me.
Yeah, because I control myself.
Hold on. Okay.
I have full control of my. But in your sense, because that's what I'm saying. Because even only reason I say what I disagree, because at some point we've all been low functioning.
Yes.
And we have to accept that.
Yes.
So to label that is like, all right, well, at some point everybody's going to be in their low state. Everybody's going to be vulnerable. Everybody's going to feel empty.
But
everybody's going to yearn something.
Mental health,
and when it comes
tools.
to relationships, the beauty of a great relationship is where I'm weak, you are strong. So therefore, I have dealt with some people that balance me and are equally yoked. And at times, have I been manipulative and prey on certain things? Yes, because I'm a man.
Right. And but not all men do that. We don't want to blanket all men.
And I will take advantage.
All men do not prey and manipulate. Not all men.
And she's right. Not all men sit there and manipulate, but just because a individual, and he's right, and he's telling her right, but he's using it as an excuse to stay in a certain vulnerable place. Yes, we've all been operating in a low functioning point in our lives. Nobody's going to be 100% all the time. Everybody had done something stupid, did something stupid, or going to do something stupid. But that doesn't mean for you to stay in a certain low functioning place and be comfortable of your low functioning behavior. That's number one. Number two, yes, you want to date an individual where, okay, hey, if I'm weak, I'm hurt, or whatever the case might be, the person I'm dating should supposed to be there for me. But at the same time, how long for an individual to be there when it comes a manipulative behavior, when it comes evil intent? When it comes evil intent and manipulative behavior, that's when you lose a certain individual. That's when you abuse your partner. When it comes a positive behavior or where, hey, I'm low, this person helped me out and I got better over time, then yeah, it's a good thing. How do you know what's the difference between dealing with my partner is down, or dealing with a low functioning event in their life? I don't want to say behavior, because what Nick Cannon is doing is behavior, but for certain people it could be an event because of a certain job, certain situation with family, past relationship traumas, whatever. It could be a particular event that occurred that affects you in the present. When it becomes an event, the difference between when it becomes a positive sense versus a negative sense, where you can hold the person accountable and the person is receptive to the accountability. Or whereas, okay, let's say an individual is dealing with loud bursts of anger, or where if you say, no, not loud bursts. What's the best one I can use? I would use bad texting habits for a simple one. A bad texting habits, or where the person is a terrible texter, right? And because of past situations of his or her life, the person don't want to text you good morning for whatever reason that happened in the past. Now, in a good, healthy sense, or where, okay, the person that's doing the offense acknowledge of the behavior that he or she is doing and apologize for the damage that he or she is doing to his or her partner, and taking accountability and find ways and steps and doing those steps to get better each day. I ain't saying like from 0 to 100, or where, okay, now every morning the person starting to say good morning like a parrot. No. Take some time out their day. Probably won't be 8 o'clock, probably won't be 9 o'clock, but 10 o'clock, say good morning. 9 o'clock next week, say good morning. 8 o'clock the following week or the following month. start saying more and ends, be more competitive, not competitive, a receptive, in a repetitive situation where it's genuine, or where it's the acknowledgement, or where, hey, I seen progress. You was doing a low functioning event and you got better over time, or where you acknowledge your behavior and you want to rectify it and get better. Versus the individual who not doing that, which makes it a manipulative behavior, where it becomes a negative behavior, and using a negative low functioning event, and you change it into a negative behavior when a person acknowledge it and don't do nothing about it, or won't even acknowledge it and still won't do nothing about it, or where now by you holding a person accountable, that person is mad at you for, oh, why are you holding me accountable? I know it hurt you, and I know it's something that I need to start doing, or something that's simple to fix, or something that I should fix to that's not far-fetched, that's not crazy, that's not absurd. That's something where, okay, if I'm doing something wrong, let me go acknowledge my partner and things in that nature. No, they double down, they triple down. They comfortable, say, oh, this is who I am, versus this is something that I need to change to be a better person, for not only for myself, but for also the partner that I'm dating. What Nick Cannon is doing, and what Nick Cannon is saying, that the negative stuff that he's doing, and he's trying to shield that because he is a quote unquote man. He's doing negative things and trying to have a positive spin on it, because it's like, oh, if I do something wrong and I know it's wrong, let me try to spin it and make it sound positive, so it don't sound bad as it is, and it's something that you're supposed to do. With his addiction of getting other women pregnant, with his addiction of abandoning his children, with his laugh. If you listen to the video and watch his behavior that's displayed into you, like every time she hits him with, when he said, oh, high, when he said, oh, well, with high value women, that's a positive to him, because in his perspective, it's a high value woman because she's dealing with me. Versus when all reality is, how can this person, or the female that you're dating, is high value when they can see a low functioning environment, and only low functioning females, low functioning individuals will engage in that? It's low function regardless. If you've seen somebody that has 6 or 7 baby mamas, and this person is speaking their games, oh, I'm different, you're this, that, and the third, I can want to be with you, you want to be with me, da 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 da, right? You get with that person, you know that for the 5th or 6th time he has done with the last person. What makes you special? What really makes you special? Nothing. So you have to sit there and acknowledge the situation that's going on. Not sit there and trying to change it for what you want it to be. Accepting it for who it is, not for what you want to be. So let's continue listening.
First of all humans prey and manipulate, but in a man in a relationship,
not in a praying way.
If I see that I can say, okay, I feel like I need this and this person has this, I'm going to do and say whatever I need to do to get that.
But Nick, again, law of attraction. We attract who we are despite of who we think we are. You used the word, you said women who are equally yoked to you.
Yeah.
Equally yoked comes in many different facets.
100%. Balance, if anything.
They have been equally yoked to your low functioning dysfunction that you have learnned to survive in.
Because I use my tools to, because first of all, let's, you're acting as if I'm entering every scenario with the full me, and we all, every time someone meets someone, you're meeting their representative. I know how to turn on the perfect man.
Depending
and
on
so
the
therefore
person,
I may have manipulated a situation, and therefore, so it's to, no discredit to anyone else, but I've come into every situation. I can be God-fearing, celibate, the one that you want. I can tell you everything that you want in a man and show you that. I can open the doors, lay down the cloak, send the jet, do it all to be like, oh my goodness, I've never, and then Toxic Nick shows up, and you like, this motherfucker got me.
No, but
he done gave me the draws, and I ain't heard from him in 3 weeks.
What you said is perfect. No, what you said is perfect because you named all of the low functioning, superficial things that a low functioning woman would fall into.
Church?
Women,
that
baby,
ain't low functioning.
Baby, any woman,
we going
any
to see
woman,
the Lord together.
any woman or man,
or the mosque, wherever you want to go. I know them both.
Any person who's done the work, who gained a sense of self, who's worked on their pain pockets, who's worked on their trauma,
are still going to be vulnerable.
They're going to be vulnerable.
They're still going to yearn. And late at night when you're sleeping alone, you go, I wish I had a strong man to rub my back.
They're going to be imperfect, but that person would want a strong, healthy, functioning man, not a low functioning man.
Sometimes it just be a nigga with some good hands.
Not a low functioning man. No, that's what I'm saying.
And you see, as you see in display, he's laughing it off because he know what he's doing. I believe that he know what he's doing is wrong. And he keep on trying to make a spin of where this is what a man's supposed to do. I'm a healthy, strong individual. But he's not going to say that he's high functioning. He knows it. I haven't heard him say what I'm doing is high functioning behavior. He has not made that claim yet, or haven't tried to make that claim yet, but try to say that he's healthy, he got good hands, and I know what I'm doing is wrong, but look at everything else. Don't look what I'm doing right now and the disrespect that I'm doing to these individuals. Look, I'm dealing with these females. I'm taking them out. I'm doing whatever I gotta do to get them to be on my side. And then when they finally on my side, I can finally just pull the rug underneath their feet and be a toxic individual after the fact, instead of acknowledging your flaws, healing from it, or start working at them as you go on in life and be getting better, not settling down or not settling on your low function behavior and thinking that it's acceptable because you're able to fly a certain girl out, you're able to buy a certain Birkin bag, wherever the case might be. And for individuals who tolerate such behavior are low functioning individuals. You can't expect, and somebody told me this one time, you can expect you out of other people. I take that back. You actually can. You can actually can, because if you're operating in a low functioning behavior and you're doing things in a malicious intent, you're going to deal with people who have malicious intent. If you're behaving and engaging, and if your mindset is, I have issues, so I'm going to use my issues to cause harm in the community, then that's exactly what I am doing, what I'm going to do. Forget what I did, forget all the stuff that I did wrong. I'm going to use my hurt or my pain in my past or whatever that happened and paint a certain picture to make it seem like it's supposed to be in a certain way when it's not. If that makes any sense. What I'm trying to say here is that because of him engaging low function behaviors, the only one that goes for it, the only one that be, oh wow, you did all these nice things, oh wow, you took me out, is low value women. Low value. Like, if I only have to do is take you out, spend a whole bunch of Birkin bag, this, that, and the third, and the next thing you know, you're gonna give me a baby when I see you, or when you see me as an individual with 6 or 7 baby mamas, and you know about it. It's one thing you don't know about it, but when you know about it and you went ahead and do it anyway just to get a money baby at the thing, you have issues. And for him to not register and not even acknowledge that, okay, the girl that I'm dealing with, I'm not really dealing with her, I'm just trying to get with her so that I can feel like I conquered something, instead of sitting there like, okay, what I'm doing is not good, I'm leaving around, baby's here, baby there, and I don't have time to spend time with my kids. And just because you're an individual who has money and your kid is well off as far as able to drive to work from point A to point B, don't have to worry about lunch, don't have to worry about clothes, don't have to worry about shoes, they would rather trade that just to spend an hour or a day with their dad. You know what I'm saying? Or spend an hour or whatever. You can't buy one thing money cannot do, money cannot buy love. You cannot try to do low functioning behaviors of getting with your child's mothers and expecting high functioning results with your kids. If you behave in a low functioning behaviors with them, you're gonna get low functioning behaviors as a result. And you're thinking like, oh, my kid's gonna love me. Your kid's gonna grow up, and some of them, or if not most of them, is gonna turn around and hate Nick Cannon, from my perspective and from my opinion, because yes, you're able to do this, yes, you'll be able to do that, but when is my birthday? When you came to see my football game? When did you show up to parent-teacher conference? Every time I look up, or when I was a baby, or wherever this and the third, you're not here, and forget about, oh, you was busy at work. You were busy creating my brother or sister with somebody else I don't know that lives on the other side of the country. How do you think it's fair for me? And if he has a daughter, he thinks is acceptable, would he be okay if his daughter dates somebody like him that has multiple baby mamas, and she's the sixth one, and she tells you, Dad, he left his last few, but I think he's gonna treat me different and he's flying me out? How would you feel comfortable with that? A lot of people wouldn't. So let's continue listening to the video, and I'm gonna share a few cents at the end.
But
is the difference. But
every woman, you can't, Doc, you can't sit here and say that.
But you're speaking from your experience, which makes it better.
I'm saying,
because your experience of these women is that they fall short for a jet and a good meal and a good man who says he goes
and
to church.
And some strong hands.
And let me go further, and probably a big penis. But so, okay,
you said it, not
so
me.
let me go. But again, a high functioning. I'm not even talking about value. A high functioning woman who's done the work.
I'm trying to hear what this high functioning woman is.
But a high functioning woman, you cannot send a jet and be toxic, and she will go on the
She don't know I'm toxic yet.
A high-functioning woman wouldn't even attract you, baby. Because it's law of attraction. Stick with me. Just stick with me.
Please explain this high-functioning
regulate your
woman.
emotions and stick with me. Regulate your emotions and stick with me.
I'm trying to hear you.
Listen, what is law of attraction? We attract who we are despite who we think we are.
Absolutely.
Think we are.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a high-functioning woman is not going to attract by default. By her calibration, she's not attracting a man who is not perfect. The man has got all kinds of mess. So does she. But when it comes to the level of her calibration and functioning and mental health and doing the work, she's going to attract that at which she is, that at what she leads with. So let me say this. Do I get on private jets that I pay for myself? Absolutely. Have I had a man do a wonderful, beautiful things for me? Absolutely. Have I had rocks and this and caught off weddings? Of course. But let me say this. Prior to me doing the work and being a high-functioning woman, I attracted low-functioning men. Hold on.
So you're saying you're a high-functioning woman who attracted low-functioning men? No, it's not what I said. I said prior to me doing the work and becoming a high-functioning woman, my low-functioning self attracted low-functioning men. Hold on. You know why I attracted them? Because I needed low-functioning to feed low-functioning. Okay, hold on. A low-functioning man cannot feed a high-functioning woman, and a low-functioning woman can't feed a high-functioning man. And so what I'm telling you is there is no equally yoked there.
He's laughing it off. He don't really want to take accountability. But he's going through the therapy for him. What a lot of people need to do and watch and observe, because it's not about changing his mind. It's about using him as an example at this point. And a lot of people need to understand that why would you fall in love, or why would you deal with an individual like this? And he don't have to be Nick Cannon. She don't have to be a version of Nick Cannon. It could be an individual, or where you acknowledge, you ask questions, or you put yourself on game of a certain individual's behavior, and instead of acknowledging, accepting, and bowing out gracefully, like, okay, this person have issues, let me leave this person alone. Let me get the hell out of here, regardless if you're the one that's breaking up, or regardless if that individual is breaking up. Because a lot of people, when they get caught up in a breakup and they're the one receiving the breakup, it puts an individual who's doing it much of a higher value, instead of having the proper context of why is this occurring? What sort of behavior that this person displayed that got us to this point? What sort of behaviors that I displayed that got us to this point? And once you finish checking yourself and acknowledge that, okay, And you be honest, you be transparent, you be clean cut. Like, is this acceptable? Would you be okay with somebody else do this with your mom? Would you be okay with somebody do this to your aunt? Would you be okay with somebody do this to your sister, your daughter, whatever? And if the answer is yes, and it's a positive outcome that is reasonable or rational or something where it's somewhat fair, okay, then why is this person individual is acting? And they do put that same lens on them. Would they be okay if they did it with their aunt, sister, mother, whatever, had that same sort of experience to them? And you put in a proper lens, or where you use critical thinking and you're going from here. He is laughing off the destruction and disruption of his pain. He thinks that I am dealing with a somewhat high function, or in his eyes, high value. You could be dealing with a high value individual, and this is where a lot of red pill and a lot of people in the ministry got wrong. Even Kevin Samuels haven't gotten this right. That is even crazy to even think about it. A lot of individuals talk about being high value, being a high value man, being a well-functioning man, but just because, you can be that. You can be a high value man in your city. You can be the high value man in your town. You can be the high value man in your state or in your country. But are you a high functioning man? There's a complete difference between a high functioning man versus a high value man. You can be carrying all the money, all the fame, all the stuff. I got the latest cars, got the latest watches, got to be on the shows, whatever, writing books, whatever, writing jet, whatever. But what good is it if you have a high functioning, having high value setting with a low functioning mindset? That's like an idiot with money. A person that is ignorant and don't know how to be responsible with money will always run out. Versus you get somebody that has enough knowledge on how to use a little bit of money with the right high functioning behavior, high functioning level, versus being in a low environment, low value environment setting. That person's going to change their life. Same thing with the individual who has a high value setting with a low functioning mindset. If that makes any sense. So that's really all I'm saying here. And I'm about to watch this video and get the full context. But watching this right here really display and really show about Nick Cannon's behavior. And people need to understand and use that for themselves. Like, okay, when this individual, and I listen to this past, his or her past, everybody's gonna try to paint themselves as a victim. Everybody's gonna try to paint themselves like, okay, he or she did me wrong, or whatever that they did wrong for themselves. If they can, you have to sit there and acknowledge a person's behavior pattern and be real with yourself. Is it okay for an individual to behave in a certain manner? And be a well-rounded individual. Have some good people around you. If you work on yourself and you increase your level of thinking and do what you have to do, you will be a high-functioning man. And it's not really that hard to be a high-functioning man. You get a high-functioning individual. Anybody can be a high-functioning individual. It's not you have to have a certain amount of money. You don't need to have sleeping with a lot of individuals. You don't need to be mean or rude. You just need to have basic common knowledge, basic common sense, and good, healthy, critical thinking of, hey, if I were to do this is appropriate behavior to cause harm to another individual when he or she is looking for love? Is it appropriate to take advantage of an individual when he or she is dealing with a mental health crisis? Am I a healthy individual to date around and be in the dating pool when I have a issue in my brain of where I can't stop myself from engaging in low functioning behavior? That's what kind of helps the dating scene now. That's what probably clean up the dating scene, because people, what you said? People, I'm gonna say this at the end. Hold on, because people behave in a certain way. Dr. Bryant said, we attract who we are despite who we think we are. So just because you think you're a high value individual does not mean you are required or you're going to date a high function individual. You have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. Take care.